aim of the Touch and Rice podcast is to spread fun in the touch football community. We talk a little bit of touch footy chat, but mostly play games and throw some banter. Hosts Cess and Kimmy would like to pay respects to the traditional owners of the land on which we meet.
My name is Jorgie Skiing, and I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we meet here today. Today we're meeting in Meanjin, and those traditional owners are the Yagara and Turrbal people. And I'd also like to pay my respects to their elders, past, present and emerging, and acknowledge my people, the Gubbi Gubbi people. Extend that acknowledgement to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people listening in today.
Abu, hi Kimmy.
Salamat.
And just the two of us today, or just us two as guests, and welcome, or you've already welcomed, but welcome officially to Jeff to the Touch and Rise podcast. Thanks for joining us from Touch Malaysia.
Hey guys, thank you very much for having me to this podcast. Looking forward to speak to everyone over here. Yeah.
I mentioned before we pressed record that the link to Malaysian Touch. So I reached out to Luke Bolton, who I'd played a little bit of touch with, up with and against also, actually over here in Australia, down in Newcastle, also on the State of Origin field. And I just reached out to him and said, hey, look, we've got this podcast running. Can you put me in touch with someone from Malaysia? And you were it. So no pressure at all.
Awesome. Now came as a shocking news. Not obviously because Luke is a good friend of ours. Been living here for like a couple of years, but it's a sad news that he's going back to Australia. Our loss is your gain.
Yes, absolutely. Well, we'll jump straight into your brag sheet. A little bit about your touch background, Jeff. So you, where are we here? So you have played in 4 Touch World Cups. That's 4. 2011.
Yep.
2011, 2015, 2019, 2024. Not too many people can say that. So that's a huge achievement. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment, including, by the way, I shouldn't have skipped over this, including for 2 nations, 2 World Cups for Ireland, Men's Open, and more recently, the home World Cup in Malaysia. You played mixed opens, and then the one just passed, men's 40s for Malaysia as well. You're a senior player coach figure in Malaysia, and a fun fact, you have you said back in the day, a killer right step. So anyone coming up against you can look out for that in future competitions, or anyone over in Touch Malaysia. So that's a little bit about your brag sheet. We'll get to know a little bit more about your touch background in our first official segment, which is the set of six touch-related questions for you, Jeff. My first question for you is, we'll get into the Touch World Cup because I've just touched on that, which was super impressive. But before I get into that, I just want to make quick mention the recent National Youth Championships, NYCs over here, 2024, were recently held in Coffs Harbour. Wouldn't be a competition in Coffs Harbour without a little bit of rain. So that was an interesting watch, but congratulations to all the coaches, managers, parents, and all the kids that were involved in that. It was a really good watch over the last few days. So that will delve into then your set of 6, Jeff. So tell us a little about the development and pathways for people for touch in Malaysia.
Right. So thanks. That's a really great question. So for Malaysia, obviously we are still a developing nation. I'm not sure if we're categorized as the 3rd tier or even 4th tier, something like that. The setup is not as complex as some other nation like England or even Australia or New Zealand. There is a association, Touch Association, Malaysia Touch Association, and under that there's a couple of active states, and within those active states there are some clubs that are under those states, and ideally if you need to be registered or playing within those clubs, and then there would be a sort of like a national touch league that happens once a year. From there on, that's where we will pick our national players. So we've had twice the NTLs back in 2021 and 2022. So that's where we got the pool of players that were selected for the 2024 World Cups. So that's sort of the high level of structure here in Malaysia. Yeah.
Would you say that was on the back of 2019, Jeff, the start of nationals or the birth of nationals in Malaysia?
No, actually, no, not actually. So just to give a bit more background, so Touch officially started in Malaysia in 2014 when there was a Asia Club Championship that happened over here, right? But from 2014 up until 2019, the associate, or rather the sport was run under a different body, sort of like a private limited body. And then when the 2019 World Cup passed, and there wasn't anyone that actually going to run the touch as a sport in the country. So there was a group of people, a mix of some people who are passionate, very passionate about sports, some senior players and whatnot. We then decided to, create this sports association for touch, and that's where the whole movement restarted again. I mean, before 2014, there were a lot of people that played touch, but more sort of like at a social level, pub touch, something like that. But yeah, but the sport itself only really started back in 2014. Yeah.
So very, very, very young. And I normally
Yeah.
ask this as our opening set of 6 questions, but question number 2 for you, what's your touch origin story? How did you get started in touch football?
Interesting one. So basically, before I pick up touch back in 2010 in Dublin, Ireland. So at the time I was working and living in Ireland. I was playing a lot of tag rugby at the time. So I was playing union and also I was playing tag rugby. And Ireland as a country is well known as a strong tag rugby participant, right? But then there was my Dutch there was a Dutch legend back in Dublin. He's the one that introduced me to the sport, and he said, "Oh, mate, there's a selection going for the 2011 World Cup that's happening next year in Edinburgh." And basically he spread out the news, and I was like, "Yeah, sure, why not? Let's try a new sport." And that's when I started playing Dutch. Obviously, it's a whole new game. It's even different from any variant of touch rugby that we would play. But I straight away fell in love with the sport. So when I started playing the touch at that time, I sort of gradually left tag rugby and also union, then focus solely on touch. Yeah.
And who was that legend, Jeff? Name and shame.
It's Federico Black. He used to play for Ireland for the men's 40s, men's 45 and 50s team. It's just that it's a bit unfortunate that he wasn't able to make it to the team this year, just because he was living in Switzerland at the time. Yeah, so yeah, things couldn't work out for him. Yeah.
And was it an easy transition for you into touch from touch rugby?
It's a mixed one. I would say for the first couple of years, it was a hard one. I think my full transition, I would say, is when I pick up touch as coach rather than just as a player. So my understanding the touch as a sport completely changed when I I transitioned to become a coach as well. But during my playing days from 2011, I would say up until 2019, I probably just unlock a small percentage of knowledge of the game. But when I started to coach a team, and then during COVID time and post COVID time to do a lot of coaching work, pick up my coaching certificate as well, and work with a lot of people. That's when my understanding of the sport grew. Yeah.
Perfect segue into question 3 for your set of 6 around your role in Touch Malaysia. Understand you have a coaching director's role now.
Yes. So we have a couple of roles here in Malaysia. So what I do currently is I'm the head of coaching commission here. We have other sort of like more important roles such as the head of referee commission, head of technical development, and women's and children's development as well. But yeah, for myself, when they started to build the association, I put my hands up to become the the coaching commission coach. Just because I think the other thing as well, at the time, I was the only level 2 coach here in Malaysia, and the amount of experience that I had as well sort of, contribute towards that. Yeah.
And what does that role entail now, Jeff, as coaching director?
So basically, at the national level, I would coordinate the whole coaching development for the state, for the nation, and also for the state. I'm also I'm also the level 1 coaching certificate presenter for FIT, the level 1. So I would obviously coordinate the coaching course for all the states. If any of the states, any of the clubs would want to get their coaches certified, I would do the coaching. I would also keep the database of all the coaches here in Malaysia, and we would do as well, here and there, a bit of a workshop just to keep the coaches up to date with the technical trend and trend of the games, things like that. And also I would work with other nation within Southeast Asia, just to share the knowledge as well about the game. So for example, um, last year and also this year, I was in Bangkok to present the coaching course and also run a few of the workshops. And I'm actually going again to Bangkok in next month to for the Bangkok Touch competition, which is quite a fun thing here in Southeast Asia, and also running another workshop there. Yeah.
Awesome. Question number 4 for you. Differences in Ireland and Malaysia in relation to touch, of course.
Obviously, Ireland is a bit more developed than Malaysia. They have played their game longer than us over here. In terms of players coming in from the schooling system as well, they are players of a higher skill, just because of I would say the rugby system that's there in Ireland, that produce a lot more higher skill players. That is reflective of their performance and and achievement in the Euros. I think in many categories, Ireland are now, it's either the second or the third, just behind England. So that's that. We are Malaysia. I think the other thing as well that is key difference is that Ireland Touch Association was able to work with the Irish Rugby Football Union, RFU, and they've done a memorandum of understanding on this, which obviously allows the ITA to use a lot of facilities, funding, things like that, and to reach out to a larger pool of talents. In Malaysia, we are still far behind in terms of trying to grow the sport to the larger pool, and we're still not in there in the school. There are some states that are working advanced ahead of others, trying to introduce the sport into schools, and you can see that reflective in the sort of, if there's a club championship or a national championship, there would be more younger players that would play for that states. And as well, I think in terms of funding as well, obviously this is still an amateur sport, so it's still pay to play, but for Malaysia, a lot of for a particular sport to thrive, you would rely heavily on the national government funding, and we still don't have that in place. So that is something that is work in progress.
Yeah, I think it's a good point where Touch Ireland can combine resources with the rugby community. I know that USA did it quite successfully with USA Rugby, and I know obviously here in Australia we have links to the rugby league community, and I know that, I think I can say this, but it's recently been announced, or hopefully will recently be announced, if I haven't let the cat out of the bag too quickly, that Queensland have also pooled resources with the QRL, Queensland Rugby League. So it just, as you
Awesome.
said, Jeff, it just makes things a lot easier from a resource perspective and funding and access to grants and all the rest of it. So it makes a huge difference. So it's a really good point.
Yeah.
Wait,
definitely. Yeah.
question number 5 for you. Actually, before we move on to that, we just spoke in our last episode to Micah from Touch Switzerland about the access to schools and the links there. So obviously over here we have an amazing talent pool in the juniors, and that was highlighted by the National Youth Championships of late. So I think it's a really important part of the touch journey for any developing countries if they can get into the schools and get kids developing those skills from a younger age.
Yep.
Then they're not necessarily taking the same path of yourself, Jeff, playing senior rugby, tag rugby, and then having to transition, as an adult, a lot easier as a child to learn those skills. So that's really good point, and glad to hear that Malaysia are looking to do that. Question number 5 for you. Your review of the 2024 Touch World Cup. Touch Malaysia as a whole, and then yours personally in the men's 40s team.
Right. So I will go on to say that for us as from Touch Malaysia perspective, the 2024 Touch World Cup was one of the best World Cup outings for all of our 3 teams. Obviously for the mixed open team, that was the second time that we fill in the mixed open team. And in terms of achievement as well, the team managed to get to the last 16, which is a huge achievement compared to 2019, which the team where I was playing at the time, we didn't even win any games and we didn't even place. But for the 24 team to be there and to be in the last 16, that was a huge achievement. And obviously shout out to the team that was part of, were training hard, and also we had massive help from a coach from Australia, Jared Papa. I'm not sure if you know, he's based out in Perth. So he came out, and he used to be a Scotland mixed open coach back for the 2019 World Cup. But obviously now he's back based in Perth, and through mutual contact that we managed to get together and work for the 2024 World Cup. So alongside him, that he managed to guide the team for that outstanding achievement. For the other teams as well, for the men's 50s as well, that was the first time we filled in the team. I think they managed to get 2 wins in their pool games. Again, something that is a new thing for the 50s team. But I would say the biggest achievement for the Malaysia team is the men 40s team, where we actually finished in the top 6, just because during the pool game and whatnot, we managed to basically beat our own expectation, and through luck and also through perseverance that we managed to get to the top 6 placing, which is a great achievement in itself. So that's for the Malaysia teams. And for myself, I would also say that 2024 World Cup was one of the best World Cups I've ever attended as a player and also as a coach. Obviously there's got to be mixed feeling because 2019 was back on home soil, and then for the 2024 you have to go to another country, and there's other challenges that we have to face here and there. But I would say in terms of the group that we had going over to Northside, was the best group that I've ever coached and played together. So I really enjoyed my experience that a week and a half in UK playing with my mates, and obviously that reflected in the achievement as well. So really enjoyed the 2024 World Cup with the team.
On the mixed team, Kimmy, I don't think you were in the same pool as Touch Malaysia. No, Kimmy played for the Philippines mixed open. No, so different sides of the pool. Who did they play in the round of 16?
Malaysia team was in the Wales group. I think Wales was the top in that group. Yeah.
Really good achievement, and I can firsthand also speak highly of the men's 40s achievement, because we were against each other on the field, and not a huge surprise to me, because when we played you, Malaysia were quite, surprised us as well. We're quite good across the park, and obviously Bolt's had a big hand in that. He was a
Yes, yes,
big help. But yeah, overall, it was really great to see you guys make the finals.
yes. Yeah, yeah.
Last question for you for the set of 6, Jeff. What's next for Jeff and also for Touch Malaysia?
Okay, another great question. So what's next for me is that obviously I'm going to continue my role here in Malaysia as the National Coaching Commission, work with the current coaches, and we're trying to build larger pool of coaches. I think that's what we're lacking at the moment, good quality coaches, and then to obviously to pass on the knowledge to the other states and clubs, because there's no point those teams that went to the World Cup went and achieved those great achievement but came back and did not share anything, right? So we want to share all those learnings, and ideally I think for myself I would personally would want to increase my knowledge of the game. So I was talking to Luke the other day as well. Like I was really I think it's one of those touch dream that I would like to go over to Australia and play in either the State Cup or even one of those weekend cups or weekend competition in Australia. Is probably the level is probably way higher than where we are in Malaysia. So even to go over to play in those smaller competition would be a great experience for me. So that's for me, and also for Malaysia, obviously, the achievement that we got was based on less than, I would say, 12 months preparation, right? Because the preparation was smart with, financial challenges and here and there. But I think if we were to plan it better, from here until until the next World Cup in 2028, I believe, we could potentially, achieve more. So I probably, I'm working in something in the background to have something like a 2 or 3 years development program to have the team together. So then the same team group of people will go over for the next World Cup. Let's hope. Yeah, let's see how. Yeah.
Awesome. That's exciting to hear. That's it for the set of 6, Jeff. Well done. Really, really well done. And before I move on from that, I will say that, and this is the benefit of connecting people over the world from the touch community. There's potential there to fulfill that dream, coming over and playing here. Depending where you land, you have some new contacts now. You'll obviously have Bolts, which I believe he's going back to Newcastle. So if you land in Newcastle,
Yeah.
you'll probably get a game there. Sydney, Kimmy's based down there, so I'm sure she'll be able to get you a game somewhere, or in Brisbane. That's where I'm based. So you've got 3
Awesome.
points of Australia, and the head coach over in Perth. So I'm sure he could hook you up as well. So really 4 points of contact.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. That's good thing about networking, right?
Exactly. Well done, Jeff. Now that's it for the set of 6, and I'll pass over to Kimmy for the next part of the podcast, which is Kimmy's Corner.
So this is the fun part. I've got some random questions to ask you. We'll call it a mixed bag. So this is just so everyone who's listening, pardon me, can get to know you a little bit more away from the touch talk. So the first question I've got for you: what is the most interesting place that you've traveled to?
Ooh. I would say Dominican Republic. I've been there actually 3 times. Yeah. And the reason why it's interesting is obviously the whole Caribbean vibe there. And apart from playing touch, I'm also big into salsa dancing. So yeah, so me and my wife, we traveled there 3 times in the past, and to go for like a festival, going there, dancing with a lot of people. So yeah, so that just to go over there to obviously to enjoy the culture, the food, meet new people. So it's really a vibrant country. Yeah.
That actually speaks volumes. The fact that you've been there 3 times, I might have to add that to my list of countries to visit.
sure,
I
man,
love
for
travel,
sure, for sure.
so I actually never thought of the Dominican Republic. So I will definitely look that up. If you could invite 3 famous people over for dinner, who would they be?
Oh, good one. I would probably invite a sportsman. And would it be someone who's alive or someone who's already passed away? Anyway,
Doesn't matter.
and
Any three famous people.
I would invite John Alamu, number one. I'm really, that's one of my hero, sports hero. That's one. And then Ryan Reynolds, because of his comedy sense. And I would probably invite what's the other one? Sports, and I probably invite one of my old coaches back in high school, and someone that I really look up to. He's not with me anymore. He's has gone, has passed away. But yeah, definitely one of the three that I would invite to the dinner. Yeah.
Sounds like an interesting combo. Some great conversation.
Jonah Lomu, Ryan Reynolds, and an old sports coach. Very interesting dinner. Good mix.
I hope Ryan Reynolds is bringing some of his gin, just quietly. I'd be saying, if you're coming around, you're supplying the gin for us. All right. Next question. If you were the president of a country, what law would you introduce?
Any law, is it?
Any law. It can be absolutely anything.
That there will be no tax in the country. Because I'm getting taxed a lot in my country, and also when I was in Dublin as well, like half of my paycheck goes to the taxman. So yeah, never able to enjoy my fruit loin.
What would you do, Cess, if you were president of a country or prime minister? Same thing.
Really low ball one for me, low hanging fruit. If I would just say I was president of the States. A bit of a serious one, but I would outlaw guns. Like, that's just gone. That's low ball, really quite serious one for me. But just on the tax thing, Jeff, how would you pay for things? I mean, I'm all for one for paying less tax, but how are you fixing roads and putting money back into the country if you're getting rid of taxes? It'd be super popular.
Well, that's another
someone else's problem.
That's another problem.
Okay. Kimmy, what about you? Yours now.
I'd probably make it that it's a 4-day working week would be my law. 3-day weekend, 4-day working week.
I'm hoping we're not too far away from that.
I know. Me too.
Some
people would argue
some of the countries that started like
some of the European countries, I think, Jeff. I don't know the exact countries, but I know that
I think Sweden started.
Yeah, the Norwegian countries are the ones that I think are really jumping on that for getting more bang for their buck on the days that people turn up for work. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah, I think there's quite a few companies over here that have introduced the 9-day fortnight, so as the next step to the 4-day working week. So hopefully not too far away. If you came in and threw down the hammer, it's across the board, like it or not.
Yes, well, I already have a 9-day fortnight, but a 4-day week would just be that much nicer. Yeah. Anyway,
agreed.
All right. The next question: what are your top 3 bucket list items?
Top 3 bucket list item. Right. So number 1, it's something scary for me. I always, it's on the back of my mind. I either want to do skydiving or bungee jumping. Don't ask me why. That's just there.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then diving, like ocean diving. And always plan to do something like that, but never really happened. Well, to Morocco, just don't know why, but that's those 3 things that on top of my head.
So let's touch base really quickly on the skydiving. bucket list item. And the reason why is because after this little segment, we're going to play some games as part of a bit of a competition, which we'll delve into a little bit more later. But basically, the loser between myself and Cess at the end of this season of episodes will be going skydiving.
Oh man, awesome.
So we'll let you know where and when if you want to come and join.
You're welcome. Welcome to join us. Maybe you can tie that into a touch trip as well, Jeff. Come over, play a bit of touch, and then skydive with one of us. Kimmy, hopefully.
Well, we'll definitely, if you're coming over to Australia, we'll line it up for sure. If it happens to coincide, we can tick off your bucket list item, and then the loser of the games can have a buddy to do it with. Could be good. Anyways, all right. Next question. Who would you be for one day? If you could be anybody else for one day, who would it be?
I would probably be my dad for one day. Yeah, because growing up, he's retired now, but he was in the army. So obviously always looking up to him to see when he comes back from work, wearing his uniform and whatnot. I always at one point I had the ambition to become a fighter pilot. One of the ambition, but things didn't go well. I had to wear spectacles. And over here you couldn't be a fighter pilot if you're wearing spectacles. But anyway, so always look up to him, and if I'm given a chance, I'll probably want to step in his shoe and see what's life like as an army man.
Amazing. I for some reason I just assumed your answer would be like a famous person or someone like a world leader, and it's actually quite nice when you hear a more personal touch to that question. All right, next question I've got for you is, what is your perfect 3-course meal? So entree, main, dessert.
Okay. Entree would be grilled octopus. Starter. Starter would be the grilled octopus. The main entry would be a steak. So it's all being influenced by my wife's heritage or cuisine because she's Italian, so I eat a lot of Italian food.
What was the dessert?
Tiramisu.
Yes.
Yeah.
That sounds delicious. I tell you what, when you have the three guys come over for dinner, if you can save a seat for me and Cess, if that's the meal that you're cooking.
Yeah.
I mean,
he makes a killer tiramisu, man.
Yeah, I think I after the World Cup got to do a little bit of travel around Europe, and the tiramisu was like a constant feature at the end of the night. You know, when you're so full, and the waitress comes up and says, "Do you want to have a look at the dessert menu?" I always say yes, even though I can't fit it in, and then you're like, "I see the tiramisu. We're just going to order it, and if we don't finish it,
There's always space for dessert, man. There's always space for dessert."
That tiramisu plate was like clean every single time. The Italians know how to dessert. All right. Where was I up to? Pardon me. Next question. If you won the lottery, what would you buy?
I am a car fanatic, so I probably buy a really fast sports car, probably a Porsche. I know it's very cliche, but that's what it is. That's the first thing I'm gonna spend my money on.
No, that's fair. Like
obviously, I'll buy other things, but yeah, I'll be in the.
I actually agree. I drive a car that I probably should have gotten rid of ages ago, but I said to myself, I'm just going to ride it until it dies. But if I won the lotto, I would be buying myself a G-Wagon.
Yeah. Good choice. Yeah.
The equivalent of a house deposit. Anyway.
Yeah.
more than a house deposit, actually. Cess, what about you? What are you buying?
Probably cliche as well. Some sort of Ferrari or Lamborghini. Yeah,
Sorry,
for
there's
sure.
boys.
Yeah, boys and their toys. Got to do it.
Yeah.
The G-Wagon, just like, it's not a quick car, but geez, she's pretty. Anyway, okay, next question. Lottery. Who would you invite onto your talk show? So if you're a talk show host, who are you inviting to come on for a chat?
I would probably invite one of so either two guys, right? Can't remember now the captain of either the men's Australian Men's Open or the Kiwi Men's Open. Obviously, if I were to make a podcast, it would be a sports based podcast. That's my passion, and same as you guys, I'll probably be inviting the sort of the top people in the game, right? So either those two people, the top or the cap
That'd be great chat.
Kiwi or Aussie Men's Open.
Good pick. I reckon you could probably invite both of them on, because I think the banter between the two of them would actually be half a comedy show.
Yeah.
All right, I got one more question for you. Which year would you visit in a time machine? So either in the future or the past.
Good one. I would probably visit somewhere in the 80s. Probably 1982. So I'll probably visit 1982 just to see what's happening, how is it back then. Just out of curiosity. It's the first time I've been asked this question, so but yeah, I'll probably visit the year that I was born.
That's not a bad shout. Just fun fact, I was also born in 82. It's a good year. That's the end of my questions.
Well done. Well done, Kimmy. Well done, Jeff. Well answered.
Awesome, Kimmy. Thanks, Kimmy.
On to the next segment, Jeff. As Kimmy alluded to earlier, we're on to the games section of the podcast. We've got 2 games for you. Now, before the podcast, I sent you a question whether you would pick. So I said something around the lines of, if you were to pick between a swan or a lion, if you were creating a new touch club, which one would you choose out of those two? And you, of course, picked the swan.
Swan. Yeah.
And give us that reasoning, Jeff, because I thought that was really interesting.
No, I think as I think I said in my response, there's so many vicious animals club names over here in Malaysia. There's people really tend to not pick those sort of more gracious, more softer kind of animals, but obviously swans, it's if you look at them, they're beautiful and whatnot. So yeah, that's probably the reason why. And my club as well, I'm part of the Selangor State, and my club is called Cheesy Wolves. Wolves as in the wolves, and the cheese as its cheese. So it is cheesy in that sense, but again, it's wolf, right? So yeah, so that's probably why I would rather lean towards swan rather than lions. And over here as well in Malaysia, there is a rugby club that's called Lions, and I don't really like them, so probably wouldn't choose that name again.
Let's
hope they don't listen to this podcast.
No. Jeff, the reason I gave you those 2 choices, Jeff, is because Kimmy and I, we follow different teams in the AFL, and they actually played in the grand final yesterday afternoon at 2:30, and the Mighty Lions, which my team got up by 60 points. So in terms of the games, you have chosen, unknowingly, you've chosen the Swan, which is representing Kimmy. So you'll be coming up against Kimmy today and be representing the Lions, myself. So play
Right,
hard
okay.
and play well, and I hope you win, because the current game score, I had to check this because Shanks isn't on with us today, is 7-all. After our last episode. So first game for the both of you.
Just really quickly, I will say you've already got an advantage, Jeff, because the Lions won very convincingly yesterday, and I am still licking wounds. So
I'm hoping for a repeat, Jeff. An
Yeah.
absolute demolition would be fantastic. By 60 points, I'd be more than happy with if it was a repeat. Those guys are
Right.
still partying hard. I was so jealous of a few of my mates who flew down and experienced that grand final. So, but enough of that. I don't want to make Kimmy too angry. Game one for you, and for those listeners playing along at home, I hope you've enjoyed the game so far, and make sure you play along and see if you can beat Kimmy and Jeff. So game number one for you, it's called hard numbers, all food related. So hard food numbers. What I'm going to do is give you ask you a question, and you both have to give me a number. You'll figure it out very, very quickly. The closest to that gets the point, and we'll take turns just so the same person isn't piggybacking off the first person to answer. So, question number one for you both is, how many bananas, and I've split it up, by the way, there's 10 questions in total. First 5 are
Okay.
Australian-based foods. The next 5 are Malaysian-based foods. So question number one, we're starting in Australia. How many bananas do Australians eat every day?
you're talking about like on average, the whole of Australia, like
Whole of
how
Australia.
many?
How many bananas? Kimmy, you can go first.
Wow. Every day, how many Australians eat bananas? Oh, I'm gonna go with 16,000.
Okay, I cannot
Wait.
comment on that answer.
This is like the total number of bananas eaten by Australian in a day.
Correct.
Wow. Okay. Wow, this is a hard one. I go with 40,000.
40,000.
Yeah.
Jeff gets the point there. How many bananas do Australians eat every day? 5 million.
How many Australians are there in Australia?
23?
So that makes no sense to me whatsoever.
5 million.
How many million?
About 23 million, I believe.
about a quarter. No, about 1/5.
About a fifth eat a banana a day.
Yeah, about
So-
1/5. Yeah.
So that's like 821 bananas per person a day.
Good man.
But-
Is
yeah,
it?
yeah. I don't know, but I think if the way Jeff's splitting up, about a fifth of the population are having at least one banana a day. That's how I see it.
Somewhere like that. Yeah.
Why is my maths brain just like completely not understanding the maths on that?
5 million, we're spending too long on this question, but approximately 5 million bananas are eaten by Australians every single day in total.
Yeah, okay. So every 5 million, not 23 million.
No,
Yeah.
so 5, that's what we're
23
saying.
million.
5 million of the 23 million are having a banana every day. That's what we're saying. Of the total population.
Carry on.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, question 2. So Jeff gets that point, 1-0. Question number 2. On average, how many cups of coffee do Australians drink per year?
Yeah.
On average, this is Jeff.
Ooh.
Jeff's going first.
Total Australia, Jeff's going first. How many cups do Australians drink per year?
About but yeah, I would go on to say about 1 billion
Okay, Jeff's saying 1 billion.
cups.
Yep.
Yeah.
So this is not on average per person. This is on average
The total.
across the whole year.
Just total.
I can't even do maths on that. 900 million.
The 900 million. The answer, I think Jeff gets his point. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but you said 1 billion. On
Yeah.
average, 2.5 billion cups of coffee Australians drink per year, which is an average of 14 cups per week.
Oof.
It's a lot of coffee.
A lot, yeah. Coffee is big in Australia, I think.
Question number 3. Each year, so Kimmy goes first here. Question number 3. Each year, how many meat pies do Australians eat?
Each year.
Yep. Jeff, have you had a meat pie before? Well, Kimmy's here.
Yeah. I've had one before.
Let's go with it's definitely not as much as coffee in my mind. I reckon it would be. I'm going to go with 900 million.
Okay, Jeff.
I would go on to say about 500 million.
So Jeff at 500 million. So we have each year, Australians eat more than 270 million meat pies, which is approximately 12 per person annually. So Jeff gets the point there.
Oof.
At 500 million. So 12 per year annually. I don't think I would have 12. Kimmy, how many meat pies would you have a year?
At a footy game or like maybe 4.
4 a year? Okay. I could see how that number comes about, 12 a year. People
But
would eat
if
12 a
I
year.
was a tradie, probably like 20 a week.
Yeah, surely that pulls the numbers up.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
That's why I was like,
yeah,
not as much as coffees.
I could see. Yeah, that's a good point.
And we have a lot of tradies.
Question number 4, Jeff, you're going first here. How many kilograms of avocados do Australians eat per year? How many kilograms?
Ooh, kilograms. 5 billion.
5 billion for Jeff. Kimmy?
Wowie. I'm gonna go out on a limb and just assume this is when avocados are expensive. So I feel like, in saying that though, everyone orders a smashed avo at the cafes.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be included on that as well. What did you say, Jeff? 5 billion? Or 5
I did.
billion?
I said 5 billion.
5 billion.
So, yeah, billion. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll go with 1 billion.
1 billion. Kimmy, you get the points there. Not as much avo. They're very expensive. You're right, Kimmy, as you alluded to. More than 45 million kilograms of avocados are eaten in Australia each year, which is equivalent to 180 million individual avocados.
Yeah.
So we're looking at the weight there. So Kimmy gets a point.
A lot still.
It's still a lot, yes, 3-1. That's why housing affordability is pretty tough for the younger generation. Question number 5, last Australian-based question. How many litres of beer do Australians consume each year? Kimmy, this is over to you first.
Wow, how many litres?
Yeah.
Holy moly. When you consider that a pint is half a litre. Oh my Lord, this is going to be a ridiculous number, I reckon. Let's go with 200 billion.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know about this one. I probably go less.
Sorry, Jeff. Kimmy, are you losing Jeff as well? Yep. Sorry, say that again,
You
Jeff.
said
We just lost
200
you.
billion, is it?
Gotcha now. Yeah, so Kimmy said 200 billion.
I would say about 100 billion. Did you get me?
Yeah, 100 billion. Okay. So
Yeah.
we're not as big at booze hounds as you both think. Huge numbers. So about 1.7 billion liters of beer per year, which is equivalent, which is still massive. It's equivalent, to put that into perspective. Jeff gets a point there, so 4-1. It's equivalent to 670 Olympic-sized swimming pools filled with beer.
I reckon, what year was that stat?
You think it's gone up?
100%. If a pint is half a litre, I reckon on an average night out, whoever's drinking beer is having at least 4 of them.
Maybe it's because we've got ginger beers and obviously wines and mixers. I don't know. Anyway, that's the number I've got, 1.7 bill. So let's move countries. Let's go over to Malaysia now. Now, Jeff, you can start us off here. Question number 6. How many cups of, now you'll have to correct my pronunciation if I have this wrong, teh tarik, which is a Malaysian drink. How many cups per year? So similar to the coffee question, but how many cups of teh tarik per year? I believe it's a hot, milky type of drink, Jeff.
Yeah, it's a hot milky drink, tea drink, similar to tea, but it's just that the tea is made with condensed milk, so it's very, very sweet.
Very sweet, right?
Yeah, it's very famous, popular drinks over here, and I would probably go to say about 250 million cups.
250 mil. Okay. Kimmy?
I reckon it'd be closer to the billion mark. It was based off similar to Aussies with their coffee. Malaysians with their teh tarik would be around that mark. So
yeah.
What did Jeff say? How many billion?
250 million. Is that right, Jeff?
Yeah. 250 million. Exactly.
I'm just gonna go with 300 million and hope that it's more.
Okay, it is more. It's a heck of a lot more. It's 1.5 billion cups.
Wow.
I was gonna go with I was gonna say 2 billion, but I didn't want to embarrass myself like I have with every other answer.
Kimmy gets a point there. So you're right, Kimmy, pretty close to the cups of coffee if we can put it on that benchmark. Yeah. Question number 7 for you. How many kilograms of noodles, this is for you, Kimmy, first. How many kilograms of noodles per Malaysian person consumed per year on average?
Hold on, is this in total or just like on just literally for one person?
One person?
Yep.
Total amount of kilograms of noodles
per year.
Per year.
Okay. Kilograms. I'm going to go with 356 days a year. Let's go with 200
kilograms. 200 kilograms. Yep.
But for one person in a year.
For one person. Yep.
200. I'll probably go a bit less, probably say 150 kilograms.
Okay. You guys think Malaysians eat a heck of a lot of noodles. I mean, that's a lot of noodles. Anyway, kilograms of noodles per Malaysian person consumed per year, 14 kilograms per person, which in total, it's still a lot, 400,000 tons nationwide per year. Massive.
What type of noodle is that? Vermicelli or an egg noodle?
Noodles combined. I'm guessing it doesn't say.
Because a vermicelli weighs nothing. An egg noodle.
Exactly.
That's true. Jeff gets a point there at 150 kilogram, closest to 14. Question number 8. 3 more to go. Jeff, you are answering this one first. How many durians consumed in Malaysia per year total?
Counts, right? Yeah, well, Malaysia says it's a lot of durians. I would probably say about 50 million durians.
50 or 15?
50, yeah, 50.
50 million, okay.
This is just like this is a total collective of
Total
of
collective, whole of Malaysia.
all- What's the population of Malaysia?
It's about 30 odd millions, 32
30.
million.
30 million, 30, 33. Okay.
Yeah.
I think it might be close to the same as the cups of Titanic, if I'm being honest. So we'll go with, I'm going to play it safe and just go a little bit more than Jeff and say 100 million, even though I think it's going to be closer to the billion mark. Let's go with that.
Okay, so Kimmy gets the point there. The number of durians consumed in Malaysia per year, 500 million on average.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Wow.
That's a lot, considering the population.
Is
roughly
it
30.
is it a law in Malaysia, same as Singapore, that you can't have durian, you can't like carry it or open it up inside
To
a
the
building?
hotel, yeah. You can't
Yeah.
carry durian and mangosteen inside the hotels
Mangosteen as
usually.
well.
Yeah, I knew about
Yeah, yeah.
mangosteen because there was 2019 Touch World Cup. I think there was even a sign on the hotel
Yeah,
that you
yeah,
couldn't take
yeah.
mangosteen inside.
Is it because of the staining of it? It's not the smell, it'd be the stain
Yes.
of the
Stain.
bread.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
stain of it. Yeah, exactly.
That's my one of my favorite Asian fruits is the mangosteen.
Mm.
Oh,
Kimmy
especially when it
gets
doesn't have a pit. Carry on.
Kimmy gets a point there, so we're at 5-3 to Jeff. Two more questions to go. Oh, Kimmy, if you get these two, we're tied. How many liters of soy sauce? This is Kimmy going first here. How many liters of soy sauce does Malaysia produce annually?
Produce.
Yeah.
That's for distribution
Correct.
worldwide as well.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
How many liters does it produce?
Yeah.
Let's go with 700 and how many? I'm just trying to a swimming pool of what was that? The Titanic. Per person. No, we'll just go with 750 million. Literally pulled that out of nowhere.
750 million liters. Okay, Jeff.
I would go about 100 million liters.
100 million. Okay. The average liters of soy sauce that Malaysia produces in a year is over 25 million. So Jeff gets the point there. We're at 6-3. Thankfully, because I didn't have a tiebreaker. So we'll ask question 10 anyway for fun. Jeff, you're first. How many kilograms of rice consumed in Malaysia per year?
I would go and say about 1 billion kilogram.
1 billion? Yep.
400 million.
400 million. Jeff gets a point there. So the kilograms of rice consumed in Malaysia per year is 8 billion kilograms.
Oof. Wow.
It's a lot of rice.
The really low number on the noodles really screwed me over for that one. I'd like a rebuttal on all of those questions.
7-3 winner there. So let's go on to game number 2 now. So game number 2, play along again at home. You've got 3 answers or 3 available answers for this. So we've got food, town, or both. So I'm going to give you a name and you have to tell me whether it's either a food or if it's a town or if it's both. And we'll take turns.
All right.
Jeff, as a winner of the last game, you can go first with this one here. So the first word I have for you is Bologna. Bologna.
You got it? It's a town.
Oh, it's a town. Sorry. I didn't hear that. So yeah, you've got town. Kimmy?
Both.
Correct. Kimmy gets the point there. It is both. So it's both a city in Italy and
What?
a type of sausage.
Okay, yeah, okay, I forgot.
So Kimmy won. Okay, word number 2. Kimmy, you're going first here. Gouda. Pretty confident.
Both.
Jeff?
Oh man, I know it's a food. I'm not sure if it's a. I'll go with both as well. I think there's a town called Buda.
Correct. Both of you. I think most of us know it's a type of cheese, but it's also a city in the Netherlands, Gouda.
I feel like most cheeses are named after the town that it originates from.
Potentially, yes. You're probably right.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Question number 3, or word number 3, remember food, town, or both, is Limburger. Limburger. This is Jeff first,
Me.
I believe. Yeah.
Oof, Limburger. I will go with town. I don't think it's a food. Could be wrong.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to go town as well.
They're both wrong there. Limburger is just a food, not a town.
What type of food is it?
I don't know, a burger, I'm guessing. I don't know. Question number 4, or word number 4, Kobe. Kobe, the basketball player.
I'm going first, aren't I? I think it's a food.
Jeff?
Both.
Point for Jeff. So Kobe is both a type of beef and also a city in Japan. Done. Word number 5, Toledo. Toledo, in case I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. This is Jeff
Both.
first.
Both. Yeah.
Ooh, Toledo. Definitely a place.
Probably Toledo, yeah.
I'm going to go with town.
Just town?
Yeah.
Kimmy is correct. Gets the point. So it's a town in Spain.
Thought there's a cheese called Toledo. I was wrong.
Not a cheese. Word number 6 is Padua. 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 Kimmy, you're first on this one.
Town.
It's a town as well for me.
Both correct. Point each. So it's a town in Italy. Word number 7, Jeff, this is for you first. Napa. Napa.
Both.
Napa is definitely a town, and I'm just trying to think
Yeah.
what food would Napa be other than like wine doesn't really count. That's crap. I'm gonna go with both as well. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Town, just town.
Okay, so Jeff, let me just clarify. Jeff, you've gone both. Kimmy, you've gone
Yeah.
town. Kimmy gets the point there. Town, it's a
dang.
wine region in California, United States, not a
Yeah.
food.
Yeah.
Word number 8, score check, quick score check. Kimmy is 5, Jeff, you're on 3. Still time.
Dang.
Word number 8, Clementine.
Is it me?
This is Kimmy, yes.
Ooh. That's a good one. Clementine. I'm going to go with both.
I would go with just trying to think a town called Clementine. No, I'm just gonna go with food only.
Have you had a Clementine, Jeff?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to sway you from your answer. It's a small citrus fruit, and you're right. It is only a food, not a town. So Jeff gets a
Come
point
on,
there.
get in
Five
there,
four,
5-4.
5-4. Yeah. Word number 9. This is for you, Jeff. First, Monterey. Monterey.
Yeah, I'll go with both food and town.
I agree both.
Point each there. Monterey is both a town in California and a type of cheese. There's that cheese link again. Kimmy, you're first here. Word number 10. Score is 6-5.
Hold on. The score is 6-5.
Yes.
Number 10. This is question 11.
Question number 10.
Okay. Yep.
Havarti.
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 Oof. Oof.
Both.
I would go with just town for this one.
Let me just recap. Kimmy, you said both, and Jeff, you just said town.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, both incorrect there. Score remains 6-5. Havarti is just a food. It's a type of Danish cheese.
Ooh, okay.
Word number 11. Jeff, you're first here. Serrano. Serrano. Serrano.
Food. I know it's a food. Boy, whether it's a town or not. I'll just go with food. I just don't remember if it's a town or what. I just go with food.
I've never heard of this. I'm glad that you've said that you know that it's food. For some reason, it sounds Italian to me, but that could just be the food. I'm just going to agree with Jeff and say
Both say food. It is both a type of ham and also a town in
Hey,
Spain. So score remains 6-5. Jeff, to tie it up here, you have to get this, and Kimmy has to get it wrong. So question number 12 word number 12 is tempeh. Tempeh. Kimmy, you're first.
for pressure, I'm going to go with food.
I agree with Kiwi, just food.
Both correct. Tempeh is a fermented soybean from Indonesia, not a town. So Kimmy wins that one 7-6 the game. So tied
Close
up.
one, close one.
Congratulations to you, Jeff. You won the first game 8-7, and then Kimmy hit you back one, winning that one by 1. So great competition for you both, and that's it for the games. Well done, Jeff. Thank you for playing hard for the mighty Lions. Can take a breather for a sec, Jeff, while we do our next part of the podcast, which is just a quick shout out to anyone that's commented, and also a reminder for people to like and share the podcast. If you've enjoyed this episode with Jeff, we're not finished yet, but if you enjoyed this episode, we'd really appreciate a share. We have had a few reviews on Spotify where you can just pick the amount of 5-star reviews, thankfully. So thank you for those 3 people who have reviewed us on Spotify. 0 yet on Apple. So those Apple users are lagging behind. So if you're an Apple user, jump on there, give us a review. And I believe you can leave a comment as well on Apple. So feel free to drop us a line on there. We did have an Instagram comment. Shout out to Cameron Nichols, who commented on the Quinn post. All he said was great fella. And I think that was a pretty good summary of Quinn as a whole. Spot on. So thanks for listening, Cameron. Hopefully you're enjoying the podcast. Now on to the next question for you. Last few questions for you, Jeff, for the podcast. The previous guest question from Quinn, our friend from previously Sydney, western suburbs of Sydney, and now on the sunny coast. He asks all of us, what is your go-to meal to cook for someone? Jeff, you can go first as our guest.
I would probably go with pasta. Yeah, just yeah, any type of pasta. Yeah.
Okay, that's easy. Any pasta, thanks to
Yeah.
the wife, no doubt.
Does that include homemade pasta? Like, do you actually make the pasta yourself?
Oh no, 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 I'm not gonna do that. That's gonna take hours, man.
Would be a flex though. Just quite, I wish I could.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Kimmy?
My answer is the same, but it would be a vodka pasta. It's like my go-to. Don't even need to look up the recipe. I know exactly what to buy, and it's just like by touch and feel. I don't know if you can see it right there. I got that. So here in Australia, Jeff, when you go to the supermarket and you want to buy basil, sometimes they'll just have like the leaves in a bundle, or it's in a little, like it's still in its little potted base.
Yeah.
And I bought that one over a year ago. It's still alive, and it's the only thing that I can keep alive. Really easy to keep alive, obviously, but it's just that smell of the basil, and then it's like, oh, what am I going to put? Vodka pasta, put basil on the top.
Good answers. So both pasta dishes.
Yeah.
I would go with a very typical Filipino dish, and probably not a surprise to any of our Filipino listeners. It would be an adobo meal. Chicken's a very easy one, but I do make a pretty mean, and this is a throwback to our, I don't know, episode 3 or 4 with Bianca, the pineapple pork adobo. It's very, very
Ooh,
tasty, and I
sounds nice, man.
can confidently say most people would like that, barring Bianca, who doesn't like pineapple in any savory food.
What a weirdo. Weirdo.
Jeff, you're not weird like that, are you? Pineapple is okay.
Yeah,
in
no,
some-
no, no. No,
Legend.
no. Pineapple is life, man. Pineapple is life.
Food question for you. So 2 more questions for you. Another food-based question. We've had a running theme of food in this, which is fantastic. I think it brings everyone together. Spice, and this won't be foreign to you, Jeff, but a question for all of us. Spice, what's your tolerance? What's your level? Do you love it super spicy, a little bit, or none at all?
It's interesting. I love spice. Obviously being Asian and being exposed to spice from a very young age. But as I grew older, I don't know why.
Sorry, Jeff,
Really,
we've
as I
just
age, I don't know why something wrong. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, so my tolerance towards spicy food has gone down. But yeah, I love spice. Yeah.
right. So Jeff, we lost you for a little bit there, but basically, if I can summarize,
Did you get
you
that, Chess?
you love spice, but your tolerance as you've got older has come down a little bit.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Perfect. Kimmy, over to you.
I reckon I'm the same. As a child, I didn't like spice, and then started to acquire an appreciation for it. But I would probably say I'm more medium level at max.
Yeah. So if we went to an Indian restaurant, you're ordering a medium.
Yeah, definitely medium. Mild is just like, don't even, especially in Australia. You actually, in Australia, you could go medium to spicy.
Yeah.
Yeah. In Asia, I'd probably be going mild
Medium to mild. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
Similar to you, probably actually opposite to you, Jeff. Contrary to, I guess, if you have, meet some white, let's call them, Caucasian white friends that don't know a lot about the Filipino culture, there's probably an automatic assumption that there's some sort of spice level tolerance straight up, which is not really the case in most Filipino households. I know, I'm not sure with you, Kimmy, but we didn't eat a lot of spice in my household growing up. So it's kind of flipped for me. I've built up my tolerance as I've gotten older. So I can go probably the medium to hot. So I do enjoy spice. So that's a food related question. Last question for you, Jeff, for the podcast. We ask all of our guests, what is your favorite your favorite dish to have with rice?
Oh, right. I would probably say braised beef, any type of beef, braised beef, slow cook. That would be my favorite to have with rice. Yeah. Yeah, for
Nice.
sure. Yeah.
Great answer. We haven't had that before, the braised beef. Very tasty, no doubt. Jeff, thank you very much for joining us on the Touch and Rice podcast for the Touch Footy chat with a side of fun and games, a side of rice. Really appreciate you giving up your time and sharing your knowledge of the game, your experience with the game, and a little bit of Touch Malaysia.
Awesome. Thanks, guys, for having me.
And the invitation is obviously open there for you to come over and have a game of touch and potentially skydive with one of us. So thank you again for joining us, and for listeners, we'll see you on the 7.
Can't wait.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thank you for listening to the Touch and Rice podcast. Please join us on all our socials, including Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Touch and Rice Podcast.